There's another new leak concerning the new Hogwarts Legacy game, this time dealing with the origins of our character and how it impacts the story. There was a very brief mention of the possibility of romance including LGBTQ+ options, which we won't get into in this video. Wand customization was also mentioned in the post, and I've already covered it in another video, so hearing about wand customization brought up again is big news for us, and makes it a lot more likely to be in the game. The main point I'll talk about today was other information included about why we are starting as a 5th year, and again, a leak is still speculation, but here on Game Geek, let's take a look at the article and see what we can gather from it. So, to start things off, on the 3rd of July, Reddit user LittleOTT posted some information titled, "Some info about initial game development." I'll link it below so you can check it out. But in their short article, they claim to know someone who previously worked at Warner Brothers Studios and was involved in the initial planning stages of the game when the project started about 5 years ago. The game itself has been through a lot of iterations and changes, including a cyberpunk Harry Potter that was considered at one point. The former employees stated that they hadn't kept up with the marketing of the game and wasn't even sure what had been revealed to the public. At one point, LittleOTT said that we knew that we were starting in the 1890s and as a 5th year. The interesting thing is that this Warner Brothers employee wasn't surprised by the information at all, meaning that the date and age of the main character has been confirmed in the planning of the game since fairly early on, which is why this leak gets really interesting. Later on, they talk about the fact that one of the original storylines for our character is that you, the player, were thought to have been a SQUIB, or for those of you that only watch the movies, someone who is non-magical but has parents that are magical. Alright, so the game takes place in 1890 with our character starting in our 5th year because he was mistaken as a SQUIB. Perfect. Now, thinking about this in the context of Hogwarts Legacy actually makes a lot of sense. For one thing, it actually does explain the odd setting of our character in their 5th year without having some lore-breaking storyline. Also, if in fact our character is an orphan, as it's been theorized online, this could actually make some sense. Think about it. If our parents died when we were very young, it could be possible that we were raised in some muggle orphanage. Or at the very least, we didn't show any magical talent in our early years. And even though some young magical children do show signs of magic, it doesn't always happen, or happen that often. Even our golden boy Harry Potter only did magic a few times before he went to Hogwarts. One of the examples in the books is that his hair grew back really fast. That's not something that's gonna raise too many alarm bells. So, it could be the case for our character that we just didn't show any specific knack for magic until later, thus allowing us to be miscategorized as a SQUIB. It is a trope in the Harry Potter universe to have the audience follow someone that is getting introduced to the magical world the same time that we are. This is one of the reasons why we know so much about the wizarding world. Well, it's because we learned all about it right alongside the chosen one, Harry Potter. So, having us as a SQUIB raised outside the main wizarding world from a world building standpoint would allow the devs to explain new concepts and things to us through in-game NPCs without sounding like they're just throwing in characters and dialogue as exposition mules for the player. Another point that supports this is that we already know about the mysterious ancient magic talked about in the trailers and Hogwarts Legacy Twitter posts. It actually harmonizes really well with the SQUIB theory since the manifestation of ancient magic could be the reason that we were finally discovered by Eliezer Fig. But given this little bit of evidence, it does seem more likely that this all could be connected and meshes really well if you think about it. Devs have outlined 2 clear goals while developing this game. They are trying to keep the lore as much as possible and also want the freedom to create something new. If we are in fact a mistaken SQUIB, this allows us an excuse to join as a 5th year, gives Professor Fig a reason to take interest in us in the first place, and will allow the dev team to show us new things without insulting our intelligence, which from a gameplay and world building standpoint is a big deal. With all that combined, it does seem rather likely that this leak is legitimate, and with more information coming out at the end of this summer, we may be able to finally piece together more of the story before the game actually releases this holiday season. Let me know if you think this sounds like a possibility, or if it's a bunch of dragon dung down in the comments. If you believe this could be the case, let me know by leaving a like and subscribing for more Hogwarts Legacy content. Also, check out this video next where we talk about how choosing your wand may work in the game, and I'll see you in the next one.